Ragna Crimson. This series is where we judge anime with real life standards, not for the fantasy part, but for the decision making skills and such. This review will be broken into episodes, and I will give my personal opinion at the end. This one felt kinda weird because I feel like they wasted the potential, and they had more potential for this series, and I will explain later on. But first, let me present to you the stupid things that I have witnessed in this anime. Episode 1. Episode 1 was a 50 minutes episode, very long episode. I very much enjoyed that. I thought that it was going to be all the way through, but no. It was, after that, it was just 24 episodes, usual. This episode contained quite a few death flags, like a lot of death flags, and I could see where this episode was going. Right when we start the episode, bullies just bully the main character, Ragna, just for the sake of it. Why? Just so they could show the other main character, Leonica, she could show her strength. Simply for that. They know she won't be quiet about this. They know she would have to say something about this, but they still did it and still bullied. Just kind of a bad way to show her strength, I think. Now when we get deeper into the episode, the MC gets a vision. And in the vision, he sees his friend Leonica dying. And he keeps ignoring the vision. And instead of doing something about it or telling her, he keeps training and trying to be stronger, even though he's very weak and he has no potential. He just keeps on training himself instead of warning her or telling her, oh yeah, do that. And even when the death thing is happening, he still won't tell her. Nope, don't tell her. Oh, and the reason for this whole season occurring is because the cake store that the dragon god liked was robbed and closed down. And obviously, as our MC is a very gentleman-like person, he patiently waits until the dragon finishes transforming, so he fights him. Episode 2 was a good episode. I have nothing to say about episode. Episode 3 started being weird and sparked a few questions in my head. First of all, why do they have a car? They had like a truck, like not even a old truck, like a new truck. They have modern weapons. They have like assault rifles. Why? Also, why does Crimson, which is like the other main character, why does she care about Leonica? She says she does, because if she dies, then her objective is not gonna work or whatever. But her objective is to kill all the dragons. She doesn't care. If Leonica survives, then DMC will destroy the dragons to protect her. And if she dies, he's gonna kill the dragons to take revenge. So she wins anyway. He wins. It's a dude. He wins either way. He doesn't care. Episode 4, in this episode, nothing very interesting. Just one point that I want to say again. That the king gives a whole speech about how 20 years ago the same thing happened and the dragons attacked the city. And he's now wondering, 20 years after, why are the dragons angry again? And I want you to remember, it's all because of the cake. Because the cake store got destroyed. Episode 5, I don't have anything to say. Nothing interesting really happened. Episode 6. In this one, we meet quite a few of the high-level enemies, the big guns. And during this episode, Slime almost gave away DMC and everybody. Just gave them away to the enemy. When he was the one that's supposed to make sure that they won't be found out. He just kept yelling and saying stuff about how he smells a dragon and you want to eat the dragon. Just very stupid stuff. And not only him, MC also, he meets the time traveling lady, the main villain, and he keeps talking like an idiot and doing the same and just being like obviously because he hates her. Yes, I know, but he just couldn't keep his cool, and he almost made her discover him. Crimson bases his whole plan to take down the main villain on the fact that the time traveling lady can only use one magic at a time, and doesn't consider that maybe she just didn't use two types of magic. Not that she can't, simply that she didn't. So I think it's gonna be a twist in the fight against her. Episode 7. I have to talk about this. It was a funny moment of the episode. During like an epic fight between the enemies and the MC and all these guys and stuff like that, one of the enemies is ready to sacrifice his life for his lady, for the time traveling lady. And just as he's about to do something that sacrifices him, the slime just eats him like that's it. It's one of the funniest moments. The music also cuts. Everything is just cut. It's the dumb face that slime has. Funny. This episode is also the one when you could say, okay, this is when the series should have, this season should have ended. But no, they just they did the most annoying thing you can do. They basically got the enemy one hit away from death, just one hit away from death. The MC is on his way to hit her, and just before hitting her, he falls on the ground, and they say, "Oh, we used too much power." Now he says that he can't move. Just one hit away from finishing everything, and we didn't need to have 17 more episodes for that. Just why? Just why? Episode 8, I have nothing to say. Episode 9, the episode with the very big filler, just filled with mostly nothing, just talking about feelings a bit, and that's it. Episode 10, I just, again, nothing very interesting to say, just the lightning dragon and the time traveling lady have like a romance between them, and it's kind of cute. Episode 11, this is when I'm starting to have like a problem with the overall series. And during this episode, the MC lets like two suspicious girls, they're allies, not enemies, but they're still suspicious. When you watch, you understand what I'm talking about. They he lets them take slime away, and exactly after slime says, "Oh, that they look kind of like dragons," and it isn't expanded upon very much. You just get like one scene of them doing stuff to slime, and that's it. He's back like to normal after that. I don't get it. It's like, okay, I was ready to be expanded and hear way more about those twin girls, but no, nothing. You get to hear about them like a tiny bit more at the end, like at the ending fight, but that's it. Episode 12, I have nothing to say. Episode 13. This episode is one of the interesting things you can see in anime and manga. It's the anime makes the MC be weak, just fighting a bit, and then suddenly he's weak. And then one of his allies tells him, "Stop being weak," and then now he's strong. This is what you call anime mechanics. Episode 14 to 16, they just dragged out the fight. Nothing much to say about those episodes. Episode 17, the fight is over. Nice, amazing. But then the lightning dragon arrives just when everybody is sure that everything is fine. The light dragon arrives and he cuts off the princess's head. And the episode is finished. Episode 18. In this episode, I had quite a few questions because I felt like I missed an episode, or I missed like a whole saga, because what's going on? It's like a very sharp cut from between last episode and where we are now. Last episode they said the teleporters failed. All the lights that was around all the guys that were gonna teleport is gone, disappeared, nothing. But now they say the teleport has been successful somehow. I don't know why. My question in my head is, how can they escape the dragon? The lightning dragon is the strongest, and now the teleport is successful. Just don't get it. Again, I think somehow they missed like an episode in between. I have like a weird thing about the main character, Ragna. The Dragon Scourge priestesses, they look the same, and they look like the time traveling lady. Whenever the MC sees the time traveling lady, he vomits, and I just don't get it. I get that he hates her, he's disgusted by her, but to the level where he can't stop vomiting whenever he sees her face. What's the point for this? To say that she's a horrible person? We know she killed the entire kingdom. Another thing that's starting to bother me this episode, that it's gonna expand, is that the MC keeps changing between zero emotions right to being completely impulsive. It's very weird, like no in between. Episode 19. The MC in this episode is acting like a kid, saying he wants to meet the princess right now, and even though he cannot win against the lightning dragon, and he knows it, he says that he can't win right now. He cannot. He wants to do it anyway. He wants to go now. I just don't get it. Choose one. He is either zero emotions or 100% motivated by emotions. Choose. And of course, because it's gonna be funny, I guess, he completely forgets that he drank a poison at the very start without even thinking. And the poison is gonna kill him if he's gonna try and rebel against Crimson. And just, it's a good thing to do, right? It's gonna show his unwavering resolve right at the start. He just drank the potion without even hearing what Crimson says, because he's 100% sure that he doesn't care what, he wants to kill all the dragons. No questions asked. But now questions are being asked. Even though he did all the thing with the potion and whatnot, now he's rebelling against Crimson. And it's not like Crimson changed the whole operation. It's still the same objective. Now he wants to do something else, and he blames Crimson because he wants to do his thing. And oh, it's not fair, he wants to go right now, acting like a kid, really. Oh, and the poison doesn't work on him. The poison doesn't work on him. Why? Because they say it's maybe because he's half sword, or literally, I'm not kidding, this is what they say in the series. He's so dense, he's so stupid that the poison doesn't work on him. Just, I don't get it. Please choose one direction. Either he's completely emotionless, acting like to the objective and that's it, or he's 100% emotions. You can't have 100% emotions and 100% objective. It doesn't work like that. You can have in between, but don't have 100% this, 100% that. It doesn't work. You can't. You have to have in the middle or in one of the side. Yeah, I'm getting hot. Episode 20. Episode 20 was interesting. It's the first time I've ever seen the actual villain just gives a few minutes to the main character to talk with his dying lover or comrade or whatever. Just, he literally just puts her on the ground and he just goes back and say, yeah, go ahead, speak to her, take a few minutes, it's fine, let's just fight after this, which I very much appreciate. And like, it's a new thing. I never seen this before. Also, kind of a weird thing is that suddenly there is a big transformer like in the middle of the medieval city, coupled with the guns and the vehicles and whatnot. They don't even explain. You have quite a few sci-fi stuff. They don't really explain it. They just show it in the background. Like you can see destroyed buildings, like if humans were like living there before, but you don't get any explanation really. Episode 21. This is the second time the slime did the funny thing with in very serious moment. He just like ate the barrier dragon, which I like it very much. It's again the same funny thing, very serious moment, everybody's serious, ready to sacrifice their life, and then funny. Episode 22. In this episode we basically had like a memorial for the princess. Everybody just sulking, just thinking about the first time that they met the princess. And it was like this, okay, in this order. The ally meets an enemy, he fights the enemy, he can't win, he's almost dead, he remembers the princess, he kills the enemy, he dies. Next, then the new guy fights an enemy, can't win. You know where I'm going with this. Just repeat until like half of maybe the troops are dead. Episode 23. Now this series just loves to get you to the end just before you're about, then you stop. Just, I don't know why, every time a cool moment is about to happen, something amazing, they take it away with like a stupid excuse like on the last second. Also, MC literally puts his head back on his shoulder after it was cut off. Also, the series is kind of getting to a point where it's hard to follow what's happening because of time travel, flashbacks, multiple priestesses that look the same. Then you go back into the future and you have time travel and you have like time stopping ability and you can revive, and then you have a chamber that has a different timeline and you can change the timeline inside, but it's also opening the timeline outside. Just like what who is the enemy, what's going on, who are you fighting, what's going on? Too much, just too much. Episode 24. In this episode, which is the final episode, they try to show it as if the princess is like the MC's long lost lover and they have been through so much together. But in reality, she said to him like in a roundabout way that she likes him. She said she wants him to be with, like, to go with her and not to go with the the guy that dressed like a girl, and she helped him contain an explosion once. Besides that, she just kept simping for him. She didn't even speak to him directly, just like in the air to herself. Nothing really happened between them, and it's making the scene seem very cheap and fake. Like they had to do an emotional moment at the end with this kind of a character. Very much cheap and fake. Also considering that just 30 seconds ago he was on his no emotions mode, and now he's completely crying. I don't get it. This guy needs to see the doctor. Oh, and the season end with the okay, let's go kill the next bloodline. Now from a personal opinion, I will start by saying this anime should have been a 500 to 1k episode shonen series, that each arc was being like a certain bloodline being destroyed, and you had to space out the stuff more, and they would meet certain characters, and you would have the secondary characters like explained more and expanded upon, because there are some that are kind of interesting. Also, the series should be called Crimson Ranga, because, and not the other way around, because Crimson is the main character. Ranga isn't really the main character. He's just there to be used like as a tool, as a power tool, to accomplish whatever Crimson wants to do. And in most of the scenes you see Crimson, you don't see Ragna. Ragna is just there for most of the fights, just a bit when you see the princess, but that's it. Most of the time it's Crimson is the main character. You see his internal thoughts, you see about everything about him most of the time. Now I just described how I think this series should have been, like very long, expanded episodes, blah blah blah. Well, it's not that. It has a very good premise, and it's also filled with quite a few fillers and bad story points and decisions that breaks the story in certain points and makes no sense. This anime has a lot of interesting secondary characters which you don't see, and I talked about this like in the middle of the episodes, like quite like a tiny bit. Like there is a twin dragon sister that I talked about. They are very interesting, and they in the middle of the battles they kind of eat other dragons, and I want to see how they got there, why they got there. Like give them a certain story. One of them dies in the middle of the series, but it's just come on, give me more. It seems interesting. There's like a guy that is half dragon, like he's a mage but half dragon. He has like a hand that can turn him into. Anyway, there are a couple more characters that are genuinely interesting, but you don't get to meet them anymore. And after a few episodes, I got that this is what's gonna be. It's gonna be the same. I would just close my heart, close my head to meeting new characters, because they don't matter. The season is gonna be finished and we're going to a new place. We're not gonna see those guys ever again. Why should I remember them? So give me closure. Let me experience the whole arc. You can have like characters going between arcs, but I don't think this is what's gonna happen. Only the main characters are gonna happen. This season is finished by MC going to a different place to continue killing like dragons, but it leaves so many questions unanswered. I'm not talking about like the big questions, who is the dragon god and where is his like Leonica, where is she, what is she doing? I don't care about that. I know it's gonna be answered in the next seasons. I'm talking about the little guys, their story, which you don't hear about. Oh, and conveniently they all died. All the interesting characters that you want to hear more about, they died in the final battle. So much wasted potential. Also, a thing that bothered me in like the last stretch, like the last run of the episode of the series, is that they try. It very much seems like the guy who wrote this is trying to justify the dragons for killing so many people and doing what they're doing, just showing their kind side and what they've been through. Why have they done that? They have been humans in the past and they've been changed into dragons. But I don't think it counts. It doesn't matter. You don't destroy a whole country because of cake and then you show like a serious side of them and what they have been through. You can do this like, okay, it's a joke, or you can do, okay, it's a very serious thing. It can't be a serious joke. During the first episode, when he has the visions about the future and Leonica's death and stuff like that, I think it would be very cool if he would do everything that he can to prevent her death, and then she would die anyway, and it would trigger his growth. Instead, of just saying, okay, this is the future, this is what you've been through. But what he's doing right now is just fucking around, just doing nothing, just waiting until she's dead. But obviously then the future comes and the rest of the series, so she's not dying. But I think it was kind of a wasted potential. And that's it. Finish. Enough. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, well, you wasted your time. Keep yourself safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.